The Fisherman of Space. Our story opens in Roxbridge, England, a small rural community not far from Dover. Sir Cyril Bentley, a leading British physicist, has been working late in his laboratory. Now he is faced with the problem of getting home before the threatening storm clouds unleash a torrent of rain. Strange how suddenly those clouds appeared. I remember looking out the window 20 minutes ago and the sky was clear. So Bentley trudges the half-mile towards his home. Suddenly an ugly and terrifying visage emerges from the clouds. Heavens, what's that? No, it can't be! That net! Help! Help! Suddenly the folds of the net encircle Bentley. He fights desperately as he is lifted high into space, his screams lost amid the deafening fury of the thunder. Within a few hours, Inspector Clive Haversham of Scotland Yard and an assistant are on the scene investigating the disappearance of the renowned scientist. His housekeeper says he phoned her from the laboratory at 2 a.m. and said he'd be home shortly. Well, from the looks of things, he never got past this point. Perkins, have you noticed a strange smell in the air? It's ozone. Burnt air. Ordinary oxygen smells like that when an electric spark passes through it. That's understandable, sir. There was an electric storm in this area last night. Yes, but the odor is too strong from merely one lightning bolt, and it's lasted too long. By George, you're absolutely right, sir. And the odor is only in this one spot. Yes, come on, Perkins, we're going back to London. There's no longer any need for us to be detained here. And there's something I want to check in my home library. A few hours later. I was right. I knew I remembered reading about this before, but I don't mind telling you. The very thought of it is frightening. What do you mean, sir? Here is an account from ancient Greek writings about famous people disappearing into thin air. The Greeks thought that the god Zeus came down to earth to take some famous mortal up to Mount Olympus, and these men all disappeared during storms. Here's another account from the Middle Ages, same situation. But here, the people believed it was the devil who snatched up the famous men because of the smell of fire and brimstone that always clung in the area afterwards. Perkins, it all adds up. I'm afraid I don't see what all of this has to do with the disappearance of Sir Cyril. Perkins, there are weird and powerful forces at work in this world, and a man is a fool to either deny or ignore them. I tell you, this was not an ordinary kidnapping. Don't you see? A sudden storm, a famous man vanishes into space, all that remains is the strong, unnatural odor of ozone. The pattern's complete. It's happened before, and neither the men or their bodies were ever seen again. Well, I must move on. I have a report to file at the yard. I'll be back in an hour or so, Perkins. Stay here. We'll discuss the case farther when I return. Righto, Inspector. A half hour later, as Inspector Haversham crosses Waterloo Bridge. Drat the luck. It's getting so dark. Looks like a bad storm is brewing. Excuse me, sir. I seem to have lost my bearings. Could you direct me to the Mayflower Hotel? Certainly. I recognize you. You're Jack Barlow, the famous American javelin thrower, aren't you? That's right. Look! Suddenly, a terrible shape emerges from the clouds, and the net is cast once more. What? No! Help! Help! Great Scott! All right, fisherman, lift away. I'll wager you never picked up a hitchhiker before. Hanging grimly to the net, Haversham is hoisted up into the swirling mist. Then he loses consciousness. When he revives, he's lying on a coral surface near the American athlete. Hello there. I thought for a moment you were dead. We took a pretty bad fall when that thing shook us out of the net. Well, if this is Olympus, then I'm a sadly disillusioned man. Olympus? Hardly. It seems to be more of a tropical island. But a strange one. Look at those black clouds surrounding us on all sides. There seems to be smoke coming from over there. Perhaps we'll find others. In fact, I'm sure of it. Well, I'm not sure of anything, except that this is all a dream and I'll wake up any minute in my own bed. I wish it were as simple as that, but I'm afraid it is not. Oh, here we are, just as I thought. There are others. Come on, let's go down and meet them, whoever they are. Well, there they are. Fantastic, isn't it? No, this can't be a dream. It's all too horribly real. Welcome, latest victims. Welcome to the island of lost souls. I beg your pardon, but you're Sir Cyril Bentley, aren't you? I knew I'd find you here. Well, how do you do, sir? You're an Englishman, obviously, and from my own period. Happy to see you. As a matter of fact, I'm from Scotland Yard. I was investigating your disappearance when I ran into the Fisherman. So here I am. So it's true that Scotland Yard always does find its man. But it seems you've gone to extremes, eh? You seem to be taking this adventure calmly, if I may say so, sir. My dear fellow, what else is there to do? We are to stay on this island forever, never to die, never to grow old. Prisoner, subjects of the Fisherman of Space. You see, the fisherman is a freak of nature, a creature of the swirling gases of space. He was created accidentally during prehistoric times. This island, too, is an unnatural one, surrounded by a continuous storm center that somehow created an immortal zone. Nothing here ever dies. The others tell me the monster is very sensitive about his appearance. Becoming bored with his miserable immortality, he long ago started snatching the leading brains and brawn of each period of history to serve as his subjects on this deathless isle. And there's no possible way to get off the island? None. Believe me, I have looked. The swirling storm that constantly surrounds the island creates a suction. No boat could get through. In fact, many boats from the outside have been sucked in and dashed to bits against the reef. The fisherman lives in the center of the volcano, in the hot gases of the crater. He only emerges to get other subjects. Hold on, I've got an idea, Sir Cyril. You mentioned smashed ships. Perhaps we could find a usable radio among them. No, I've thought of that. But we could never get a radio signal through those clouds around the island. Too much static electricity. Perhaps. But we could send signals over them if we ran an aerial up the side of that volcano. Come on. A smashed PT boat supplies them with the radio equipment they need. Then, now to find that American. A javelin thrower is just what the doctor ordered. Later. Good throw. That did it. The spar is stuck in the volcanic ash. This aerial might do the trick at that. Try it. Right, here goes. Several hundred miles away, a small island is being readied for atomic bomb tests. Suddenly, a radio man interrupts the planning. Excuse me, sir, but we've picked up a weak signal, a distress signal, and a queer one, sir. In a few moments, the terrible story of the secret island of lost souls is out. Gentlemen, this is no hoax. I know Sir Cyril Bentley personally, and that is definitely him. I know it sounds fantastic, but I'm convinced that this Fisherman of Space does exist and must be destroyed. You mean with the atomic bombs? No, that would be impossible. Remember, our people are all prisoners on that island. There is another way, though. Have 2 bombers readied immediately and fill the bomb bays with sodium iodide and dry ice. Yes, sir. In a few moments, the bombers lift gracefully from the runway. I hope your estimates of the monster's chemical composition is correct, Dr. Crandall. It's a long chance, but we've got to take it. It was a fantastic stroke of luck to reach my colleague, Dr. Crandall. He has a bold plan, but it might work at that. If it doesn't, the fisherman will be furious. There's no telling what the monster may do. And in a few minutes... Pilot to bombardier. Okay, Jerry, there's your target. Drop that dry ice. But the Fisherman of Space has heard the planes, and furious, swirls upward to catch them in his net. Suddenly, he runs into the swirl of snow-like chemicals from the planes above him. My gosh, look at him. He's reacting to that dry ice just like an ordinary moisture-filled cumulus cloud. He's starting to dissolve into rain. This is fantastic. Now even the surrounding clouds have caught the condensation. What's happening? Simple. This is scientific rain, produced on a high level. The dry ice cools the clouds suddenly. The moisture condenses, and it rains. The fisherman is made of clouds. He's raining himself to destruction. In a few minutes, it is all over. The storms that surrounded the island, together with the Fisherman of Space, are all gone. What happened to the men of the other ages? When the storm clouds disappeared, the island returned to normal. Those who lived on the borrowed time have gone to dust, into their final peace. It took a trick of modern science to finish the Fisherman of Space. Oh, here comes our rescue party.